Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Dr. Janice Hooker Fortman, and this is the Relationship Matters TV show. We are very fortunate tonight to have two financial experts on with us. The theme of this show is your relationship with your money. And now I know all of us want to talk about our relationship with our money. It's very important, especially during this time. I have my first guest this evening, and her name is Kessa Gooden. Hi, Kessa.
Hi, Dr. Janice. How are you?
I was going to say, can you hear me? I'm fine, Kessa. How are you this evening?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much.
So, audience, viewers, I want to tell you a little bit about Kessa. Kessa is an international motivational speaker. She's a philanthropist. She's an author and a mentor. She's been featured on live TV. You might have seen her on CBS or ABC or Fox or NBC. She is a powerhouse. She's a powerhouse. She's also in magazines and international newspapers. She's the CEO of multiple businesses, including being the owner of CAM Financial Group and All in All Marketing. Kessa has been motivating and empowering men, women, and children worldwide with perseverance, determination, and endurance. She is self-dependent. She motivates, empowers, and she's a mentor to those that need to be uplifted. So what are your issues? You know, we all got some issue, some kind of issue. If it's marriage, if it's your relationships, if it's your finances. So today we're going to talk about Kessa's journey from where she started out to where she is now. So Kessa, tell me something. Tell me a little bit about your background. I know it started really at age 14 all the way to becoming an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Janice, for having me. And my name is Kessa Gooden, and I'm your entrepreneur CEO girl who really love empowering and impact people around the world. And thank you so much for that great introduction. So my journey started at the age of 14, where I migrated to the USA. And after coming here to the USA, I started being on my own because my father traveled overseas and basically left me on my own to figure life out. After 3 months of being with my aunt, I ended up on the street. I've been through foster care, homeless, abandoned building, homeless places. And my journey to entrepreneurship actually started again in the shelter, where I had a friend who actually told me about starting to get licensed to start a business. And I went to school and started getting that license so that I could start my financial firm. And that was 12 years ago. So I rushed over the story, but there's a lot more behind it. But yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's an amazing journey in a nutshell. So now you have multiple businesses, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
About four.
I know one is your financial business, but tell me about your multiple businesses.
So I have a real estate firm, a financial firm, a marketing firm, and also a nonprofit organization as well.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. Now tell me about your nonprofit.
My nonprofit was founded 12 years ago, and I recently changed the name like 2 years ago. It's called Global Awaken Initiative Inc. And we help the less privileged in Africa, and currently we're helping people in 18 different countries right now, through education, self-development, ASSB, assistance to start a small business, and food and clothing as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what part of Africa?
So we are currently in 18 different countries right now in Africa. So I can name a few. We have Liberia, Uganda, Nigeria, Somalia, Niger, and the rest of them I can't remember.
Oh, wow. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I know when I spoke with you earlier today, you were just coming off of a conference. And
Yes,
I think you were telling me it's what is it? It's Independence Day.
yes, it's Nigeria Independence Day, and I was on a care conference where we're empowering the youth to help them to start their entrepreneurship journey and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm going to ask you this. You have all these multiple businesses and it's a wide range. So what made you start with taxes and, in the financial area?
So, yeah, so the financial area was a friend of mine. I was in the shelter, and he told me, he said, "Hey, come work with me in my firm." And I went to work with him in his firm, and I was doing well. And he said, "Okay, how about you go and start your own business? You can do this. You've been helping my firm, so go ahead and start your own business." And I did that. I started my own business in the garage.
Oh, okay.
I started it in the garage, and later fast, really, really fast. My first year was over. I made multiple six figures my first year.
Oh, gee, girl, you need to mentor me. And so you like preparing taxes. So that means that you must really like numbers.
So I love numbers, and I really had a passion for preparing taxes before motivational speaking. So now I come from the company more of a management aspect of it and a CEO aspect versus when I first started out 12 years ago. So I have a team of people who work on the taxes and help the clients and stuff like that. But I mostly focusing on getting the company out there, growing the team, and building the company.
Okay. So how long did it take you to build your team?
So one set of team first took me about 3 months after starting the company, and then about 3 years ago I started building virtual teams, which is to reduce expenses. So that took me about 6 months to a year to really get that down.
You are a powerhouse. You are definitely a powerhouse. So let me ask you this. When you were doing taxes and helping people to prepare for taxes, I talked to someone and I said, oh, well, the tax season is over. And he said, oh, no, the tax season is never over. It Filing might be over on a particular day, but not the tax season. So, what's the biggest mistake that you've seen that people make when they're filing their taxes?
Repeat the question, Dr. John.
Well, I know you're in Nevada and I'm in Illinois, and we have a little storm going on here. So I know that
Yes.
probably that's why that little delay. But what is the biggest mistake people make when filing their taxes?
Oh, yes. So the biggest mistake that people make when filing their taxes is going through a software. They feel that the software is going to save them more money and save them more time. So they go through TurboTax and e-file software and stuff like that's the biggest mistake because they're leaving money on the table. They're leaving a lot of money on the table. If they don't contact a consultant, they are leaving a lot of money on the table. That's the biggest mistake.
Oh, That means I'm making a huge mistake.
If you don't know, if you don't know the numbers, if you don't know about the numbers and what you can get deduction for and stuff like that, and you're just inputting in just regular thing off your head without knowing what can be deducted and stuff like that, then you are leaving money on the table. And you're an entrepreneur, so I can guarantee you're leaving a lot of money on the table because you get a lot of write-off and expenses for being an entrepreneur. And if you don't know what to write off and what expenses to claim, when you file through the software, you're leaving all that extra money on the table and you're paying overpaying in taxes.
Oh, whoa. Well, I guess I need a tax consultant or a tax preparer because I thought I was, really doing well. I use, well, I don't want to advertise, but I do use a particular software, starts with a T. And I thought, oh, I was really doing well, but now I know I really, and even, and I am an entrepreneur, but I'm thinking, okay, well, if I get the business version that is telling me all, it shows me all the deductions, but I see what you're saying now. It doesn't, and sometimes I do end up paying, and I don't think I should. So, what is the most important thing that people can do to prepare their taxes? Like right after you
I,
file, should you start
mhm.
not, right away preparing for the next year?
I think a very important thing for people to do to prepare for taxes is make sure they have a trusted tax advisor that they can go to. Make sure they have someone that they trust with their paperwork that they can go to and that they know will look after their paperwork next year, so they don't have to worry about anything in the next coming year. Someone that they go to in a regular basis, and make sure that person is also doing the best that they can to make sure you're not overpaying where it's unnecessary to overpay and stuff like that. So having a consultant is definitely very important.
Okay, so let me ask you this too. Now, while you were preparing people's taxes, and I'm sure you, being the CEO, you hear a lot of problems. But what's the worst thing that has happened to you when people bring you the information?
The worst thing I would say that happened to me is like if I deal with a client that maybe is getting audited through an agent, and they're getting audited and the agent is not reaching out to them. If the agent is not reaching out to them, then that become my problem, which in the work agreement it shouldn't be my problem to take care of that. It should be, the agent's problem to take care of that. So I would say the worst thing is when they're being audited and I have to come in to solve the issue. Now, an audit, it may sound scary and it may sound like, oh, I'm being audited, so I should be afraid. No, you shouldn't be afraid. An audit is just for them to review the information you submit and to make sure that information is corresponding with what is there, with what's on file and what you're submitting. So when you're getting audited, don't feel like scared, like, oh no, my world is turned upside down. No, they are reviewing the information, and any correction needs to be made will be made, and then you'll be on the clear to go. But I know how we, in today's society, we feel when we're getting audited. We feel like, oh, the world is collapsing, and we have nothing. So yeah.
Wow. I know I was audited once, and oh, I was so nervous, but I had everything. And as a matter of fact, once I took all of my receipts and everything, after she was auditing me, and she said, "You know what? We owe you some money."
Exactly. Exactly.
you know, and but I was very afraid because when you hear about being audited, first of all, it's like, okay, I did something wrong, and now they're going to, I didn't catch it, but they caught it, and now I'm going to have to pay more money or some money or something like that. But I like the way that you explained it, in that you really should be afraid of being audited. So I'm,
long as you have all your paperwork in order, as long as you have all your paperwork in order, you shouldn't be afraid of being audited. So have all your ducks in a
Okay,
row. Dot
so
all
we
your
have
I's and cross
something
all your
dot my I's and cross all my T's. So we have Robert Brooker says, I remember after filing a few years ago of not doing so, they said thank you and sent me $7,500. So I said, you're welcome. Okay, Robert, that's pretty good. And he also says, my mother does my taxes. She finds money all over the place. It will be a challenge to find an accountant that can measure up to her. Well, you know, Robert, you are extremely lucky. You are
yes.
extremely lucky.
You
Yes, if
have
you
to
found,
that be good at it. Yeah.
because first of all, mom is always going to take care of you. Always. So
Yes.
she's always going to have
Yeah.
the best interest. That's wonderful. I really enjoy. I know that we're going to, make this brief because I know that you just come off of this long conference, but I really appreciate you coming. Oh, wait a minute, I've got something else before it says, oh, who is this? It says, Sandy says, lucky him. I haven't experienced that yet. I need your mom, Robert. you know, Robert probably should have said that because I think I need his mom too.
Yeah. Well, if you guys need to contact someone, other than Robert's mom, I'm here. I'll be able to assist you guys to look over your paperwork and check your back taxes to make sure you didn't leave any money on the table and stuff like that. So I'll be able to assist you guys, or my company will.
Okay, so what I've done is put your website up for people who would like to contact you,
Oh,
and
camfinancialgroup.com.
it's www.kessagoodenteam.com. So
That one is my site.
that's your what? That's your website.
That's speaker site. That's my speaker site.
Oh, that's okay. So do you have a different website, or
Yes.
do you have different contact information?
www.camfinancialgroup.com.
Okay, wait a minute.
Cam
I'm gonna www.camfinancialgroup.com.
.com. Yeah,
Okay,
KM. Yeah.
all right, so let me put that in there so they can see it. Come on, Banner. There you go. There you go. Okay, so I want to make sure that people can get in contact with you. It's www.camfinancialgroup.com. Thank you so much, Kessa. I
Yeah.
really, really appreciate it. Oh my God. Robert, I'll put something else what Robert says, and then I'm going to let you go. He says, she does do taxes for a few folks. She worked briefly at H&R Block, but left after she realized that I guess you say that they didn't know much. Yes. Thank you so much, Robert. So thank you so much, Kessa.
Thank
And
you
if
so
anyone
much. I
wants
appreciate it.
to reach Kessa and get your taxes done and make sure that you don't get audited, and even if you want to reach her, if you need her to come and speak somewhere for you, if you need some motivation, if you need some inspiration, and if you need to be mentored, get in contact with Kessa. Thank you so much, Kessa.
Thank you,
So you
Dr.
have a
Jan. Thank you.
beautifully blessed evening, and hopefully when COVID-19 is over, I'll be able to come to Nevada and visit you.
Thank you so much. And you're very welcome anytime. Thank you so much. Have a great
All
weekend.
right.
Have a great week. Okay.
You too.
Thank
You
you.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was great. You know what? I'm like, oh, okay. So I shouldn't be afraid that I'm going to be audited. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Well, right now we have sponsors and we're going to go to a couple of commercials and we'll be right back with our next expert. Hi, we're back, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the show. I'm going to bring in another expert. I am so delighted and so honored to have her on the show. And she's going to give us some advice. And I told you all to have your pen and your paper together. Have your pen and paper together. I have mine together. My next guest is Robbie Spencer Matthews. She is a successful, award-winning global entrepreneur, and she's an empowering international speaker, financial transformation coach, and author. She helps clients transform their financial DNA by providing the knowledge, strategies, empowerment, and accountability needed to effectively manage their personal and small business finances so they can get out of debt and stay out of debt and spend guilt-free and live financially free. She is the co-founder and president of the Matthews Entrepreneur Group Incorporated. She's also an editor and a contributing writer for the books Financially Speaking, The Best Improvement Starts with Self-Improvement, and Finding Your Moment of Clarity. Discover Your Power Within, written by her husband and business partner, Michael Bart Matthews. She's been featured on live television, podcasts, magazines, and newspapers internationally and locally. Now, Robbie is one of 10 women who co-authored a book and participated in an upcoming PBS television special. Both entitled Phenomenal Global Women. Be sure and look out for that. Now, this is where they're going to share their life stories and their experiences to inspire and empower women around the world. And she also won the Inspirational Global Woman Award in London, that's London, England, in 2017. And she graces the cover of Global Woman magazine based in London. I want you all to welcome Robbie Matthews. Hey, Robbie Matthews.
Hey, Dr. Janice, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And also thank you for allowing me to share the stage with Kessa. She's awesome, phenomenal woman, awesome. So I'm doubly humbled.
Oh, thank you. Yes. She's an amazing woman. Now let's get to you, Robbie. You're a global entrepreneur. You travel all over the world. You're dealing with finances, and you're going to help me to spend guilt-free.
Yes.
Yes. That's what I want. I want to be able to spend guilt-free.
Okay.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. Now, both of my guests left a 9-to-5 to become an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So why did you become an entrepreneur? Why did you leave your 9-to-5 or retire from your 9-to-5?
Yes. So this calling, the financial transformation, financial education, it came to me. It said, you need to do this, because I was in corporate America for 40 years and I was in technology, but I was in technology in a financial services firm. So I was required to understand financial principles, because I was creating computer systems to help the wealthy keep track of their money. So in order for me to do that, I had to understand where they were getting their money from, how to calculate certain things. So that gave me my financial basis, because I wasn't raised with any financial acumen whatsoever. So everything I learned, I pretty much had to learn on the job, because that was what I was required to do. But as I was learning it, I was able to implement some of the things that I was learning in my own life. And so I was able then to take care of my children, take care of my family. And then, of course, I met Michael, and together we planned our future together. Because if you're married, if you're in a relationship that you are looking at to be a long-term relationship, then money cannot be an issue in that relationship. You have to work together. You have to set common goals. Even if you're doing some things differently, going down different paths, the paths have to lead to the same thing in the end. So that's what we did. And as a part of that, he kind of started taking ownership for a lot of the financial part of what we were doing.
Okay.
I started traveling. Actually, this was ironic. I started traveling to London on business. Uh-huh. And when I came home from one of the trips, he had written Financially Speaking. And well, we didn't have a name for it at the time, but he said, well, I wrote this financial book. I'm like, well, why did you write a financial book, right? So he said that a lot of people were asking him, because they would see us and, we have a wonderful home and, all the trappings of, successful, what you deem successful. And so they were wondering, well, you're in line instructor for CTA, your wife, she works at a bank, what are you guys doing? So instead of him just telling people, he decided to write it down in a book.
Oh, okay.
So he wrote the first edition of Financially Speaking. And when I came back, I looked at it and I was like, well, this is actually pretty good. I didn't know, he didn't know, I guess we didn't know he was able to write that well.
Okay.
So I took the book back to on the plane, because I had to go back to London. And so I said, well, I'm gonna read it on the plane and go through it and, make some edits, because, I gotta get my red pen out. He calls me Judge Hatchet. So I'd go through and do, some editing in it. But it was an awesome book. And I actually let the flight attendants read some of it, because I had been on that flight going back and forth for a while. So I knew them and they knew me. So they read and they were anxious to actually get a copy of it when it was published. So then we had to figure out how to publish because, of course, we didn't know anything about that. So we published a book, and then we started talking to people, organizations about, just financial education. But we weren't doing it for, excuse me, for like money. We were really wanted to share, what we had learned.
Okay.
And we eventually started speaking. We were told that what we were teaching is global, and that we should expand our vision to global. So we went to South Africa and we spoke on stage there. We've spoken in London. We've spoken in France. We've spoken California, all over. So our mission has always been to speak about financial education and financial literacy. So it kind of just found us.
Okay.
And then we retired. Michael retired in 2012, and he started revising the book, which is the current version of it. He started revising it, and then I retired in 2014. And so we decided at that point to let's really turn this into a business and go around speaking and teaching and selling the book and helping people, coaching. So we just kind of evolved into a full business entrepreneurship, even though we were doing that for people for free.
Okay. Okay.
So
you were doing a service, yeah. Yeah.
So that's how it started, because neither one of us came, we both came from humble beginnings. I was, just like Kessa, I was homeless, but I had 2 children at the time, and I had to figure out how to take care of them.
Okay.
And but I was always around money. My family were gamblers, so I was always around money when I was growing up. So I knew how to spend money because I would always get money from the gamblers, right? So I knew how to spend money. I just didn't know how to manage it.
Okay.
I was very good at spending. But then with kids and bills and all the stuff that we're not taught how to manage, I had to really figure it out. And getting the job in the financial services firm really helped me get my finances together. And then Michael, on his own track separately at the time, was figuring out how to get himself together financially. And then we came together and worked together. So that's pretty much how we came to where we are today from a financial focus.
So what is it that you actually do to help people with their finances?
Okay, what I do is I educate, empower, and elevate. And what I mean by that is that in order for you to control or to manage anything, you have to understand the principles underlying money, right? We need to understand money. Also, the empowerment is we were teaching and we were educating people and inspiring people, but then the next step is, okay, I'm ready. What do I do? So we needed to put some things and some products and services in place to actually help people implement their financial goals. And then the elevate comes from once you kind of educated, you know where you want to go, you have options to increase your income through business ownership, through investment, through other means that will allow your money to grow. So we look at it where we teach you how to keep more money, grow your money, and to protect your money. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to get and stay out of debt, right? As you can say, spend guilt-free and to live financially free. So we do that by teaching you how to do that. And what we discover through our journey and through talking with our clients and just talking to others about money is you have to transform your financial DNA. Because
so how do we do that?
Okay, you become a cat.
A cat?
A cat, yes, CAT.
Okay.
It stands for courage and commitment. You have to have the courage and the commitment to take control of your finances. You have to be able to say no. No to the girls' trip. No to the night out with the fellas. No to the Xbox, to the iPhone, to those things that are not bringing you value for your money.
No to shoot.
No to shoot. Oh, please. I'm a recovering, excuse me, I'm a recovering shoe addict. So Michael doesn't agree with that, but I am a recovering shoe addict, yes.
And no to purses?
But I'm gonna tell you how to do it guilt-free though. See, there's a way to spend guilt-free, right?
Okay.
So, but you have to start by making some sacrifices and making a commitment to your finances, right?
Okay.
The A stands for stop wishing and wanting and hoping and start doing, taking action. That's the A. And have some accountability. Either hold yourself accountable or get someone like a coach to
Okay.
hold you accountable to setting your goals and to reaching those goals. T, at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself the truth.
Okay.
You're broke, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're living client check to client check, but don't get frustrated, get educated.
Okay.
All right, so that's how you do the transformation. But there's strategies then within our, we have 7 principles. So
Okay.
we adapted these 7 principles called Live Wealthy. And within each of those principles, each of the letters in the word wealthy represent a principle. And the W stands for wealth mindset, because you have to start changing how you think, act, and feel about your money. You have to do a paradigm shift, because the way we were taught from a cultural standpoint or from a family standpoint, you know, as kids, our parents shielded us from money problems.
Yeah.
We just thought, we always said maybe had food or clothes, and we just thought the money was always going to be there. They never told us about, mortgages and foreclosures and not having enough money and robbing Peter to pay Paul, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we shielded from that. Or only one person in the family, like in some male-dominated cultures, the man always took care of the money, and they would give the wife just enough to feed the children and buy the clothes and things like that. So you came back with these, you didn't know anything about money. And then, of course, we have our societal impact, the social media impact, and all the glamour and the glitz and the Beyoncés and the Kardashians and, trying to be like Mike. Well, if you want to be like Mike, give your kids instead of buying them a $200-300 gym shoe, give them an art pad and teach them how to draw a gym shoe and sell that to Nike.
Oh.
If you want to be, hair doesn't make you look like Beyonce. I can put some Beyonce hair on and I still won't look like or be Beyonce. But I can study Beyonce's mind. I can study Kim Kardashian's business acumen and put some things in place that I can get money like Beyonce and Kim, and then buy the stuff that they can afford to buy that I can't afford to buy. So we have to change our thinking. And the retailers, buy one, get one free. It's not free, people. If you're paying for it, it costs money. It's not free. You're just buying 2 things you don't need.
Okay.
So, we have to get out of that whole mindset of it being free. And the last part is the culture. The government/corporate impact. We were programmed from an early age to go to work, get an education, corporate financial education, like finances and economics and statistics and trigonometry. None of it has anything to do with personal finances. So they wanted an army of people to go into the corporations to make them money. So they taught you that, corporate finances. So now when people think about money, their head goes back to trying to figure out statistics, and the eyes roll back in the head like, oh my God, it's so complicated. But I'm going to give you the formula for calculating, say, your cash flow. So if anybody got a pencil,
I tell people, have your pen and
write this down, because this formula very succinct. It's a very distinct formula. So it's income minus expenses equal cash flow.
It's
I minus E equals C. That's it.
income. Say that again and say it slower.
Income
Uh-huh.
minus expenses equal cash flow.
Okay.
It's simple math. If you can add and subtract, multiply and divide, you can calculate your personal finances. You'll know exactly how much you have, what your net worth is, what your monthly cash flow is, what your debt to income ratio is. All those things that sound like, oh my God, rolling eyes, is a simple math formula. A minus B equals C. That's it. Anyone can sit down today and do that. Right now, at this moment, what's your income? What's your expenses? Tell you what your cash flow. But there's a problem with that formula, though.
Okay.
The problem with the formula is people don't know where their money is going, how much expenses, what their expenses are. Because we spend without thinking, right? That's where the guilt-free spending comes in. And a lot of people say, well, I need to create a budget. I don't advocate budgets.
Okay.
I advocate a spending plan because we like to spend, we don't like to budget.
True.
Okay.
Very true.
So you spend your money on things that bring you value, right? So there's 3 categories for when you're creating a spending plan, when you're looking at your money. Yeah, the first category is survive. You have to survive. Your rent, your mortgage, your food, clothes, medicine, and the emergency fund goes into that survival category. What are the other things, not in clothes, and I don't mean the clothes to look like Beyonce and Kim Kardashian or Michael Jordan, not those clothes.
And no red bottoms.
And no red bottoms. Definitely unbreakable. They're not in that category. Okay. You can look good. You can look good at, Target and Walmart, and you can look good at, JCPenney. You can look good, without going there. So survival category, right?
Okay.
Your second category is to thrive. This is to account for your future. This is your insurance. Everyone needs insurance. I can show on the importance of insurance, and that's under our one of our other categories, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing is your retirement. Saving for your retirement and planning. And then in college, for your kids, your long-term care, those insurance, those types of things that help take care of you in the future. Okay. And then the third category is to feel alive. That's to feel alive. That's your red bottoms. Okay. That's that new car. Instead of getting the Ford, you get the BMW. Right? Right. I made that mistake early on where I used my emotion. And when you spend with emotion, right? Yeah. If you're happy or you're sad or you're trying to impress, you use your emotion. So I sat in a BMW 745 Li, and I fell in love with that car in 2003. It was when it first came out. It was beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta have one of these. I'm just in love with this car, right? And I looked good in that car. Okay. Sexy. But being sexy and broke is no joke.
All right. So, girl, that's fine. You just made a little rap.
Hey, that's hanging around. Who?
Yeah, I know.
You're hanging around like Billy. You can pick up a few jokes.
I was gonna say, are you gonna break out with a poem?
I'm gonna leave that one to Michael. But so you have to, understand where the emotions and get control over their emotions. So the way you do that is know where your money is going, know how you're spending your money. Because if you do that up front, then you can't afford that $745. You know that. Yeah. So it might, you might say, okay, well, that's my goal. That goes in my feel alive category. And so I'm going to work towards that, right? So now you're spending your money on things that is going to bring you value, help you survive and bring you value. That's how you spend guilt-free. Now you just spend, you go and you buy something, you buy that purse or you buy them shoes and you put it on the credit card. And after the bill comes out, you start feeling guilty because you shouldn't have bought it. You couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But you told yourself, you convinced yourself, and women, ladies, we're really good at this, of saying, I deserve it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We deserve the best and the finest things in life, but we don't deserve to be in debt.
Exactly.
And we don't deserve to feel guilty for buying a pair of shoes. Okay. So if you take the time and understand where you stand financially and put the right things in the right categories in a proper place, and that's what we do. We help you figure out where you stand financially today and where your money is going. And some of my clients, I actually sometimes, before COVID, when we were in the same room together, I had to bring tissues.
Really?
Because when the reality hits you as to what you've been doing all this time, it becomes overwhelming. But I give you about 15 minutes to blow your nose, go to the bathroom, throw some water on your face, and then let's get to work.
Okay.
Crying is not going to solve the problem, right?
Wow.
Cry is for joy because you have a positive cash flow. And that's what, those are the tears I want to see.
Okay. Now you mentioned COVID, and when we come back from this commercial, I want to talk to you a little bit about, how COVID is affecting our finances. So we'll be right back right after this brief commercial. Gotta pay the piper. Okay, we are back with Robbie Matthews, our expert. So, given where we are with COVID-19, what are some things that people can start doing today to help them to improve their financial situation?
Well, I feel for, for all the individuals that have lost their jobs. It's a situation where, regardless of how you think it happened, it's here and we have to deal with it. There's a couple things that, and this comes back to the paradigm shift of your thinking and your financial thinking. And, you may have lost your job, but, there's, and I wrote these numbers down, there's about 13 million unemployed people in the US, but there's 124 million, depending on which poll, you look at, about 124 million people that still have jobs. They have needs, they have products and services that they need. So if you become unemployed, maybe it's a good idea to start looking at some of the things that the people that are still employed need and start your own business.
Okay.
Right? You can start a business with little to no money. There's all kinds of, businesses out there. And that's part of our Elevate, where we, sit with people and we talk about what it is they like to do, what their, passion is, and whether, you can turn passion into profit. What is it that you like to do? Do you like to bake cookies? Do you like to, maybe there's a lot of working people that don't have childcare now. And I know there's a lot to becoming, a child care provider and things like that, but maybe you got a couple of friends or family members that you can, start watching the kids for them. And they can entertain you. So there's things that you can do. Also, there are, forgive me, the number, there are over 1 million unfilled jobs in the US that are still open, even during COVID. So
really?
Yes. If you do your research, go out there and Google open positions, in your area, and maybe it requires some additional training. You've got Google, YouTube, that you can learn new skills and new how to do things differently. You can go to YouTube and find out how to do almost anything, but make sure, of course, you're using a reputable source for learning. So when we work with our clients, we look at business opportunities. Michael and I have multiple business opportunities because you have to have residual income, and that's where the residual income, that's where the Elevate part of what we do come in. Is residual income is when your money starts working for you, and that's part of the growing that money, either investing it in something that's safe, to become educated on the safe vehicles that you can invest in. I am a licensed insurance agent. So because we need to empower our people, and I don't sell insurance. I educate people and let them make decisions on what they need for their family and their future. If it's something I have they can use, I'm happy about it, but I don't go out for that purpose. I'm not door to door. I don't do anything like that. It's part of our overall service that we offer. But you can find out how to be anything you want. Take a training class and become something different. Look at what's open. Look at the positions that need to be filled. So there are ways that you can, transform your life. But you may have been You may have worked at the post office, or you may have been a flight attendant, or well, hopefully they're not letting anybody off at the post office right now. We need everybody there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not there, but you can find retool yourself. I was watching a session where this flight attendant was saying that this is a dream job. And they, you just heard they're laying off a lot of flight attendants. So she's like, I don't know what to do. It's like, well, that's where you have to change your thought process. It's like, okay, experience that one dream. Let's create a new one, right? Create a new dream for yourself and your family. And involve your children. Involve the family in whatever business you take upon. Have your family, your kids help you. So that's what I would recommend, is that you retool yourself. Shift your paradigm, shift your think, and go out there and Google and find some of those open positions, the million or so positions that are out there around this country, and the 124 million people that are still working that needs products and services. Kind of find out what that they need, that you can help fill that gap now that you have to look for something different. For right now. That's
excellent advice. We have a couple of comments, and we only got about 5 minutes to go. It's so interesting what you're saying, and I'm trying to bring up these comments. Of course, the computer is going around, and it looks like I have frozen. Isn't that something?
Well,
oh my goodness!
I don't know if people can still hear me or not, but everybody on Zoom and the technology and the Zooms and things now, live streaming, it's the airwaves and pipelines are kind of clogged.
Yeah, and because it's so many people on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So one thing, just a piece of advice, you can get yourself a Wi-Fi booster. We have a Wi-Fi booster in the house. So that does help boost your signal to help as well. So that's one thing I would recommend to people. That's something.
I'm back. I lost you for a minute. So I'm just, I see some thank yous. Some people say they have their pen and paper ready. And what is this, Robert? I was going to say, hi, Miss Commander Abby. Oh, I don't know. Robert Burger just really likes to talk a lot.
Hey, Robert. Hi, Robert.
I do have one question I see here. And they want to know, is it best to invest in a 401k or put your money in the bank or in a credit union?
Oh, okay. So here's where the education.
2 minutes.
How many minutes I got?
2.
Okay. If put it this way, if you have a long time horizon, where you can withstand the ups and downs of the financial markets, and your company is matching your 401k money, I would say it would be okay, probably at that point, to put some money in it if you have a long time horizon, because your money is going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Credit union and banks pay 0.01% interest. So if you follow the rule of 72, it's going to take 72 years at 1% for your money to double. That's not where you want to put your money. Unless it's just for an emergency. If it's an emergency fund, you want to do it quickly, then you put a little money in a savings account or a money market account. But if you're talking long-term investment, there are other vehicles that are much safer, and will provide you guaranteed guaranteed lifetime income, that you won't lose it in the market, that you can pursue. So anyone interested in learning more, you can reach out and find contact me and I can give you a little bit more specific advice, because everybody's financial situation is different. And there's no one size or one thing that fits. And that's what we do, the education first, and understand where you are financially, what you can afford. And then I see a question from
Sandy says, oh my God, I'm a senior and I definitely need a paradigm shift in my thinking, but it's hard to start over at 70. I need a boost.
Okay, my number is on the scroll there, Sandy. Give me a call.
Yeah.
You're never too old. If you're only too old is when you're not here anymore.
You're right. So
right. It's over. One other thing, Dr. Jan, before I always have to advocate for this.
Okay.
Estate planning. I need for you who are listening to me to do your estate plan. You need your wills, your living wills, because so I'm gonna leave you with this question. Who do you not want to pull the plug? So think about that.
Thank
because
you.
If you don't write it down, somebody that don't want to pull the plug will do it. All right. So I cannot stress that enough. Estate planning, and like I said, my number down there. If you need more information, you can reach out to me, and I can.
All right. Well. So you can reach Robbie. You can go on her website, www.tmeginc.com/bookstore for her books. But you can reach her at 708-634-6784. Thank you, Robbie, so much. You've given us so much information. I really appreciate you coming. And thank you, all my viewers. I know you got a lot out of this. I want to tell everyone, wherever you are in the world, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, have a beautifully blessed day and evening. Thank you so much, Robbie. And I will see you actually in a few
minutes, right?
All right. Take care. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.